It goes backwards.
Don't worry about the camera, Diedrich. You look lovely. Hello, welcome to Mad Marks Monday. Tonight we are going to be discussing the preview for Lansk, I think it is, they're pronounced, on Wednesday for the Europa League. We are going to be touching on the hot news which Dia brought to my attention beforehand about Alexis Sanchez and Chris Smalling, because no one's interested in Sancho agreeing terms, are they, at the minute? So we shall go right into it.
Who's Sancho?
I thought it was Daniel Sancho, I think you said earlier.
Mike Sancho.
Early team news for the game on Wednesday is that after Daniel James, Pereira and Igalo will start, we'll have a very good chance of starting because they are fresh and ready. Injuries, Luke Shaw, Twanzebe and Phil Jones are still on the sidelines. Youngsters, Tiedemann Menge, Ethan Laird, James Garner and Tahith Chong have been training with the first team. So, Dia, seeing as it's late for you, we'll go with you first. Early team news, exciting with the youngsters training, possibly getting a chance, and what would your team be?
Yeah, absolutely. The young team need a chance because we just played the Premier League against Leicester. Now I think it is, especially we won this game and the first leg. We are both comfortable with it, and it is the perfect time to give the young like Mengi and Greenwood. Even I don't think Greenwood may start. Maybe there will be Tai Chong, who is absolutely a young talent for us, and like Angel Gomez now, who is no more with us. But I think he will give a chance to the youth, and also Igalo. There's like of James and Pereira maybe, because he will Ole will rest for Pogba, Bruno, because they had a massive before. Now I think he will give a chance to the young lad because they are more compatible with this win of the first leg.
Okay, cool.
Can I just clear something up? Angel Gomez isn't dead.
Isn't what?
Yeah,
he isn't dead.
You didn't say he was dead.
We don't know where
he said
no longer with us.
Oh, right.
Which is true, but he just made it sound like he was dead. He passed
away.
He's
an angel. He's an angel.
Oh, he really is an angel.
He's an angel.
So you would name an 11 that's what, experienced come youngsters, or would you go all out with the kids then, dear?
No, we bring some experienced players like Mata. You have Romero. There will be some experienced players as well. Like Igalo will be here, I think. Igalo, and then for the defense, I would like to see the Mengi central defense to see the confidence, what confidence he can give to the squad for an emerging youngster. I think it will be perfect game for him.
Yeah, fair enough. Diedrich, same question then. Youngsters given a chance, would you do
it? I'd mix it up as much as I possibly could. I'd like to have a little bit of a mixture with experience because I think you can't just play 11 kids. As much as the age-old saying is, you can't win anything with kids, even though we are 5-0 up. I think just chucking 11 youngsters on the pitch, fair enough for 5-0 up, but we still want to see a little bit of entertaining football. So I'd play as many youth as you possibly can without making it sound daft as well. I'd start the likes of, Fred, McTominay to get them a bit of, a bit more game time, get a bit more playing time underneath the belt, but also I'd start as many kids as you possibly could. But like I said, without going overboard, playing 11 of them, just watching them run around like headless chickens.
Yeah. So you want to try and keep it like a competitive team then. You don't want to just chuck down whole fucking reverse side.
Yeah, because you still need a few experienced heads in there, don't you? Just coaching them through the game. Because otherwise, you're just going to get 11 overeager kids. They're going to gas out after 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's cool. Mark, same question then. The youngsters are coming in by the sounds of it.
Yeah, pretty much the same as Diedrich, but Romero's got to start every game. And that's not because David De Gea's had a bad spell. It's just this is his competition. It's unfair to take it off him. He did it in the FA Cup. He took it off him, and look what happened there. But I'd play as many kids as you can, but they do need experience because they're never going to learn if they don't play with anybody that's experienced. Yeah. I'd have Fosu, Mensah, and Ethan Laird as fullbacks. Stick Ted and Mengi with probably Bailly at the back. I'd like to see Garner or Dylan Levitt play in midfield because Levitt, for his debut, had something like 100 passes, all completed passes in his debut. He's cracking it, holding the ball up, and he's like Michael Carrick.
Yeah, just likes to keep it ticking, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then I'd definitely play Chong and Igalo. As for the third one, it'd have to be Mata or Lingard, I suppose, or Pereira.
It's looking like Red Devil says give Lee Grant FC again. I didn't even realise that guy was still in the team, to be honest.
That's a good shout, actually. Yeah, I'd give him one, but then play Romero the rest of the tournaments, I think.
Well, Casper's put highlight this because I think this is really decent shout. This doubts over Twansebe injury records. I'd really invest the time in Tendon Mengi. Right now, the guy, from what I've seen of him, he's quite rapid for the position that he plays. So, do you reckon next season? I mean, there is a slight chance he can make his senior debut. I think has he been used as some? I don't think he's been on the bench, has he, this season either? He's not even been named or travelled anywhere with the squad.
Mengi has been on the bench.
Is he?
Yeah.
Did he come on at all?
No, but. No? He was on the bench in the Prem, wasn't he? Was it one of the last games of the season?
I can't remember, mate. I honestly cannot remember.
Even that, and he was probably on the bench for the Stana game when all the kids played.
Well, Max is in the house. Hi, Max. How you doing? Jessica's idiot. How are we all? Red, Casper, and my daughter. Pain in the butt.
You right, Katie?
Yeah. Hello, Katie. Go to bed. So, interesting there that no one, I was just going to bring this up here, right? No one there has mentioned Dalot, the forgotten man.
Yeah, I did consider that. I considered him, but
it's
I'd rather see
interesting.
Fosu Mensah and Ethan Laird get a game.
Well, do you know, it's interesting. I was talking to my mate last night on the Xbox, and I said to him, like, there must be. There must be something. There must be something about Dalot that Ollie doesn't like, right? Because you've had Fosu Mensah been out for such a long time with injury, and he's got the nod here over Dalot in the last few games, right? So, what do you think of that, dear? Do you reckon he's on his way out, or do you reckon Ollie's just waiting to see whether he can adapt to the way that Ollie wants to play?
No, I think he don't suit the system of Ole. I think Ole don't want him to be at Old Trafford. I think because he's also Mourinho bring him. So Ole, what he's trying to do is to put his own style, like project restart. He's not. I think he's not going to be the guy who will think that Jose Ball this kind of player here. And he's bringing a new philosophy, new blood. New fresh players, new mentality. He don't want to stick even with the negativity which people talk about. He want to remove it with a smile, because as you see all his press conferences, he speaks very lightly, but I think he's very ruthless behind the scene. I think this is why he's trying to pose himself. Yeah. I don't think Dalot will be here next season.
No, I mean, Max is saying here that. Fosu Mensah, Wan-Bissaka, Shaw and Williams are ahead of him. So, effectively, he's fifth in the pecking order, right?
Soon to be sixth as soon as Ethan Laird establishes himself.
Oh, yeah, if he comes back as well, comes through.
Ethan Laird's supposed to be better than Williams. He always was during the youth teams.
Was Ethan Laird the one that was preferred at right back?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was injured when Williams came through. It's the only reason Williams came through and not Ethan Laird, even though Ethan Laird was the better one. He was injured at the time.
So that's an interesting thing there, Dietrich, because Dalot, like Dia says, comes in under Mourinho, decent price tag, young age, right? I mean, now all of a sudden he's nowhere to be seen. So do you reckon this like a bit of tough luck, or do you reckon he's on his way out?
No, I think it literally is a case of good night Vienna for Dalot, and it's a shame really because I actually quite liked Dalot. I think he offers a lot. Going forward, anyway, I think he's got pace. I think he's quite strong. I think he delivers a hell of a ball. I think that's why Ollie didn't Ollie at one stage try and transition him into a bit of a winger instead.
Right side.
So that should really have been alarm bells going for you there when your manager says I'd rather try you out of position than in your natural position because you don't offer anything coming backwards. But I think he's young enough. I think he'll still go on to have a decent career. I think he's young enough so that we can get a bit of a decent transfer fee for him as well because I think we paid 20 million and I think he's only like 20, 22 now. So it's not like we're going to take 5 million, 3 million back from him, is it? I think we'll be getting at least 20 million back for him. So I think we should get a decent transfer for him. But yeah, I'll be quite disappointed to see him leave. But like I said, he is so far behind now.
Yeah. I mean, Mark, what do you think?
I think he should leave. I mean, it's unfortunate for him. We're just blessed in the full-back position at the moment, aren't we? So it's just sorry to see you go, mate, but sling your hook.
Harsh but true. There's the door. Fuck off.
Yeah. Fucking day one.
So Max says, Akil said that Dalot scored the last time he started versus Tranmere. Don't know what happened since then.
Fuck me, I'd have scored in that game.
Well, I mean, Max says that he started in the FA Cup against Norwich as well.
Hey, it was Dalot that got us the penalty in against PSG as well.
PSG.
Yeah, PSG game changer.
Yeah.
Casper says that Ethan Laird is the only reason that Williams plays left back. That's what MUTV say. I don't watch a lot of MUTV.
What do they know?
So, I mean, I think it's pretty much unanimous, isn't it? Rotate, get a few of the kids in, see how far they can go in the competition, but you've got to mix it with a bit of experience because, an actual game, don't we, dear? We don't want to see 18, 19-year-olds get out played. Whether they do or not is a different thing. But I wouldn't want to see them. I wouldn't want to see this team come to on Wednesday and get outplayed. I think that'll do their confidence a fucking world of shit, to be honest. Go on to Dia's topic then. Smalling and Sanchez. So you wanted to bring it up, mate. So let us know what's going on. You're the transfer man, Twitter man that's reading everything. What's the latest? What's happening?
Yeah, I believe Chris Smalling, Mike Smalling, like Van Gaal used to call him.
Yep.
Mike Smalling. Yeah, but he did pretty well in Italy. He did pretty well. I think.
Okay.
I don't think Roma wants to pay back the price. But he's back at Old Trafford now. But I think his time is up. Yes, but when I think I see the players like Phil Jones still being here, but I think Smalling is better than Phil Jones. So it would be better to have Chris Smalling if I don't know if we are going to sign a centre back, but it would be very important.
Yeah, but hasn't he got Koulibaly next to him?
No, that's Napoli.
No, Napoli. Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. Don't. Is that my taxi?
Yeah, Matt, you ain't coming on again.
Is that my taxi? See ya.
So he's at Roma then, dear. I mean, is it because then Roma don't want to pay the price, or is it just the fact that United have said, look, we're not extending the loan then? You either have him or you don't.
I think United will go this way. Yeah. As you have it. Yeah. Because Chris Smalling, I don't find him now in Man United now. He did well in Italy, but United now with a new project which we are restarting. But I would prefer to have him rather than Phil Jones, because he is the mentality of United before Ferguson was here. This robust player, he's quite aggressive and he's got that ability to do something. But I don't think the project which we are doing will be suitable for him. We better if we sell him. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. So,
strong players. Yeah.
Well, just quickly on Sanchez. What's going on with Sanchez?
Sanchez is already agreed. He has been already agreed now, and Inter Milan personnel, it has been agreed, and I'm very happy that Sanchez is heading.
Yeah,
because
that's virtually done then, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking get in then. Get in. That's bonus, isn't it? I mean, Dietrich then. What do you think? Smalling? Do you have him back at United? I don't think he comes back as the first choice, does he now?
Definitely doesn't come back as a first choice. I think. I mean, I can understand what they're saying about Phil Jones, but I think if you were going to get a loan out of any centre backs, you got to think. Fair enough, you might want rid of Phil Jones, but you've also got to think there's got to be someone out there stupid enough to want to buy and get Phil Jones from us. So that's maybe why Smalling went out as opposed to Jones. Smalling still might have had a few more suited people looking at him. I mean, over the last few years, you've had the likes of Arsenal come knocking for Smalling and whatnot, haven't you? Whereas I don't think anyone's coming knocking for Phil Jones. I mean, so maybe that's
David
why.
Moyes was sniffing about, wasn't he?
Fucking take him. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Says it all.
And you said Blackburn wouldn't even have him back.
No, I was saying this to Ross the other night. I've got a few mates who are season ticket holders down there, obviously, and even they're saying no chance. Because there's no point. He'd play 3 games for him. That'd be it.
Yeah.
But I think he will end up going. I think it's just a case of us playing hardball. Because I think, what have we said? They want him, and they want him for the Europa League. So I think they're still in it. But we're now pretty much doing what we're doing with Inter, because obviously it might come to a point where we go head to head. Like, you either pay up, or potentially we could fucking use him against you. So I think that'll get done sooner rather than later, and I think then it's Ollie's job then to start getting rid of the likes of Jones and the Rojo's already gone. Yeah, I think. But if he came back, I wouldn't be devastated. I wouldn't mind seeing him step in every now and then, but I'm not going to expect miracles from him. Like I said in the pre-show, the guy in the broke his hip when he tried doing a pass, and when he passed it out into the stand.
Dodgy.
I'll never forget that, ever.
Very dodgy.
Well, I mean, Smalling, fan, not a fan. Where do you see does he go? If Roma don't pay?
Fan of his missus.
No. Oh, yeah, she ain't too bad, is she? Yeah, she ain't too bad. Yeah, Mark, so, I mean, come on then. What do you think of the situation then with
I've always liked him. I think he's better than Maguire. He scores a lot of goals. Yeah, he's dodgy at defence, which is obviously that's his main job.
Hang on a minute. Whoa. Hang on. You think Smalling's better than Maguire?
In the air.
In the air.
How many goals has Maguire scored this year with his head? Well, Smalling did get 5 or 6 a season for him.
No, I don't think he scored. I think only against Chelsea he scored the goal. I think with his head. 2.
Yeah, Maguire's only scored the 1, hasn't he? But Chris Smalling would get you 5 or 6 a season.
So he got in Maguire.
Maguire's got 2.
Right. I'm getting them all wrong tonight, aren't I?
Beer out. Cut the beer out, man.
He got the rocket against Tranmere outside box.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. That doesn't count, though. It's Tranmere.
Dalot scored.
Fucking hell, everybody scored in that game. Jesse Lingard scored.
Lingard, fucking hell.
Dalot.
Pereira.
Marshall.
Pereira, Dalot.
Greenwood.
Yeah, Dalot got 1.
Yeah.
Well, Akil
6
said
different goal scorers, wasn't it?
Smalling will go somewhere. There are many clubs interested in him. You won't simply sit on the bench, unlike Phil Jones. Do you know?
Yeah, I read that. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
Yeah, is that what you were going to say?
The exact same thing. They want him, but they've offered him potentially a player swap. I've read.
Yeah, Bernardeschi.
No,
I think that was who it was.
Should try for Dybala again.
Mate, it was. I couldn't fucking believe it. When I read it, I'll just hang on, just make sure it's right. Because it was in the news today in there, and I did see it in the Evening Report.
He's got a very funny relationship with Allegri, doesn't he, Bernardeschi? He had him as a starter for a couple of seasons, brought him through, then sold him to AC Milan for ridiculous money, then bought him back, and now they're getting rid of him again.
So it's been confirmed tonight that Inter Milan have named Sanchez in the Europa League squad for the knockout stage.
Yeah.
So he's gone, which is a good thing, I think.
It's worth dragging that out. It's worth dragging it out though, because if we meet them in the final or something, and we can stop Sanchez from playing against us, then can't we?
I think it's already done.
We still own him.
No, it's already done. According to Romano, he's already done the here we go for it, I think.
Has he gone playing his piano?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Fucking idiot.
Yeah, he's appearing with fucking Pavarotti this time.
I'll give him a tenner just to fuck off.
Right, so let's talk about the major news then of the day.
That was a bad Pavarotti joke.
Yeah. Jadon Sancho, dear. We'll go with you here. Reports saying that the personal terms have been agreed. 5-year contract. Round about 200,000 a week, apparently. But I must make this clear, right? I was absolutely spot on that United would not pay the 108 million up front, right? Because they don't have it, right? Because all that money then on one player would fuck up another transfer or two, right? So reading today, 60 to 70 million up front and then installment, like they did with Dembele, I want to say.
Yeah, Dembele.
Yeah. That makes sense from a business point of view, right? If they're going to pay 60, 70 million up front, that's enough for Dortmund to bring in someone else, right? They want the deal done before the 10th of August, before pre-season, right? Which again makes sense because they've got a week from today to get this done. So it ain't going to drag out like a Pogba saga all through the fucking summer, right?
Yeah.
So, 70 million up front. I can get on board with that. 20, 30 million add-on or in an installment after he's made so many appearances or scored so many goals, blah, blah, blah. I think that's a good deal because they're not dragging their heels in and saying, look, we want to negotiate the price. Dortmund have blatantly saying still today, 108 million, 120 euros, 120 million euros, and he's yours. No fucking about. So, dear, I mean, for you, good business, bad deal, good investment. What are you thinking?
I would say with the previous years I've been frustrated with Man United, like with signing of Maguire, like Bruno. It took too much time to sign a player in United, and I think this is the reason this like Leicester, like every team is using Manchester United very well, because if it give you a choice, either you take it or you leave it. So it is up to Man United now to take the decision. But I think it is a wise way of United approaching this transfer by signing Jadon Sancho. I think the installment is pretty good, because when you're seeing a player like Sancho, it's like he's a phenomenal player for Man United now. He's England teammate, Rashford. It's a perfect signing for United. And I think we did a good business with it. Yes, we did well. And I think he will suit the team very well, and he will adapt to the Premier League, and he will be our new number 7, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I think Sancho he's a perfect player at the right age, fresh blood. I think he's gonna play for a decade here at Old Trafford with our young players, Martial, Rashford, Greenwood. I think it's a perfect business for Man United.
Big thumbs up from you then, mate, yeah?
Like, share, subscribe, people.
You got your hands behind your head tonight. You look like you're getting the blow tonight.
I know, I'm doing a Ross impression.
You're getting the blow tonight. Diedrich,
doing
same to you then. Same
God.
to you, Diedrich. Come on. Good business. Good signing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic bit of business. I don't really know what to say on this one. I mean, I'm excited for it. Like you said, I'm kind of hoping we don't drag it out. I'm glad that there's a deadline almost set of next week, because you know what it was like last season. We had the whole Wan-Bissaka's come in. That took about 5 weeks, and then by the time we get these deals done, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot he signed, and the excitement's not there anymore. So I hope that hopefully they get this done quick. Hopefully this is the start of a few transfers. Actually, hopefully this isn't the only one we bring in. And like you said, now that Sanchez is gone, that number 7's available. But would you guys give it him?
Interesting. Good question, that, Diedrich. We'll save that to the end of the show, that one. Just remember that, all right, 'cause my memory ain't as what it was. Right. Got him, Mark. You in Sancho? I know you're not the biggest fan of him, are you?
If the deal was 70 million and that's it, then yeah, I'd let you have that. But
yeah,
he's not worth 120 million of anybody's money.
Well, I'm going to say, from what I've seen, right, I don't watch German football. I don't watch any football outside.
I've only ever seen him in an England shirt, and he's not lit the world on fire.
This was the debate I was having with a mate last night. I said to him, like, you know, I can't justify £108 million for a guy who's not, well, I'll say a guy, a kid he is to me. He's not an England starter because he ain't moving Kane, or Rashford. All he's won is personal awards for like Player of the Month, and you know he won that World Cup medal when he was at Man City and things like that. He's not won a Bundesliga title. He's not won whatever the German Cups are called over there. But
Portugal, I think it is.
You can't use that against him because Harry Kane's not won anything, but you'd have him, wouldn't you?
Mate, yeah, but you look at the difference there, Mark. Right, you look at the difference there. Harry Kane, right? You guarantee 25 goals every season, whether he's fucking fit or out for 3 months or what.
He's a different position, though. He's an outside striker. Position.
But I think in that United team at the minute, one thing we seriously lack is if Marcel Rashford gets injured like they did this season, what happens? And this is where my argument for Aubameyang came in. For, you know, his goals for 2 seasons would cover not getting Sancho this season if United wanted to wait it out till next season and get him at cut price. That was what I was saying the other night. But I mean, for England, Mark, like you said, he hasn't set the world alight, but his stats in Germany, 17 goals, 17 assists in 32 games this season. So every game he's either scoring or he's assisting.
Mkhitaryan had fantastic stats in the Bundesliga.
But again, yeah, that's another thing. He was playing alongside Aubameyang, wasn't
he? Yeah.
This is. I think it's. I think. I wouldn't say it's a gamble. I wouldn't say it's a risk. I say it's more of a slight gamble that this kid is being built up.
Well, I've got no doubt he'll do well. But whether he's going to be £120 million worth of genius, I just doubt he'll be that. Doubt he's going to be that good. You see, we're paying more for him than we did for Pogba. Is he going to be more influential than Pogba can be? And you notice I use the word "can be" there, not "is."
That's not going to be hard.
Like, you got to be careful with your words on YouTube. You know that because people fucking twist them.
I said "can be."
Yeah. Question here from, well, it's not a question, it's more of a statement from Kylie. Greenwood will be better than any striker in the Premier League at the moment.
Yes.
You think, yeah? Yeah?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then after that, he puts other than maybe Aguero.
I actually agree with you for once, George.
Yeah?
Other than maybe Aguero.
Yeah. Mate, there's some top fucking strikers in the Premier League. That ain't no...
But as Aguero, is it Aguero's never actually won the Golden Boot?
Oh, you're right there, dude. Actually, I don't recall him winning it. Do you?
And for such a great
No,
striker,
Diaz never won it. Diaz not won it.
As much as I like Aguero, he's never. I don't think he's ever come even close to winning like Player of the Year or anything like that. Like some of the strikers in the Premier League have, like the likes of Henry's and stuff like that.
He just banged
That's
goals.
interesting as well. Casper says, I bet his agent won't kick up a fuss like Pogba's. Who's his agent, Sancho? Anyone know?
Free agent.
Certainly ain't Raiola, is it?
Is it Mendes?
Don't know.
I've never even heard of it.
Oh, is his dad? Is his dad like a lot of these young lads these days?
Kylie said
Mason Greenwood's agent's his dad.
Best goals per minute in the Premier League history.
Aye, because he's on.
Right, so let's get it into a hypothetical situation then. I mean, Akil says here, in a market where Grealish is valued at 80 million, Sancho's a steal for 108. Now, he's got a point there. If you're looking at age...
The market's wrong on Grealish.
Well, this is it. You think in a pandemic, wouldn't you? The prices would drop, right? Now, I remember...
You're telling me that Grealish is worth more than Bruno Fernandes? We only paid 50 for Fernandes.
This is it. And I remember Sir Alex saying there was no value market that one year. Do you remember? When...
we signed Orbitan, fucking...
Yeah. All those unknown players, wasn't it?
And Owen as a replacement for Ronaldo for 80 million.
Yeah. And he said there was no value market, right? And that was, there was no pandemic, there was no fucking economy crisis, there was no recession, right? It was just there was no value in the market. And you know what? I think that the way this pandemic's panned out, possible second lockdown situation on the horizon, there is no reason for these teams to sell their best players here, dear, for me. Hence why that's the price. It's got to be done by this date. If you don't pay up, you ain't getting him. It's as simple as that. Where, in theory, the way the world is, it should be the opposite. I
think it is the opposite. They've got every reason to sell because they're all losing money if they're not getting people in through the gates. Turnstiles. Yeah.
Which
a lot of these clubs, the smaller clubs, need to sell as quick as they can.
But
which
no
is
one's
what
blinking
I was trying to say the other night about where's this 108 million coming from? If they won't pay it up front.
Well, we just took out a big overdraft, didn't we, a few months ago?
Well, yeah, I mean...
Yeah, 150 million.
Yeah.
It's a fucking... It's a bit of a shambles at the minute. But, I mean, if Grealish, dear, 80 million, is that the right price for him? Would you still go in for him, knowing?
No, absolutely not.
How much do you value him at?
I would value 40, 50 million.
Yeah.
Not 80.
Who's this? Grealish?
Yeah.
I agree. D is right. Yeah, 40, 50. Yeah.
40, 50 million.
50 is the absolute max.
Yeah.
Diedrich, you agree with that?
I think I'm going to go against what you're both saying. I think a player is only worth as much as the club values him at. And he might only mean 50 million to us, but to Aston Villa, he might be the difference again between them staying up or going back down again next season. So that's probably why they're judging according to them, they're saying 80 million. He's potentially worth their survival in the Premier League.
Oh yeah, they're just pricing him out the market because they don't want to sell him.
So do you think then his best option of a move is to dig his heels in and say,
I don't think he will.
I don't think he will either, because he loves the club, doesn't he? Boyhood club. Yeah. He loves Aston Villa.
Wayne Rooney loved Everton, but he left there because he wanted trophies.
Yeah, but then again, that's another. Wayne Rooney was young then.
How many chances has Grealish had to jump ship though? He had a chance to go to Tottenham a couple of years back, and he didn't drag his heels then. And that's when they were in Championship.
I think a lot of this now, right, is down.
I think when he talks though, he's going to get 3 or 4 times his wages if he comes here, though, isn't he?
But that's another thing as well. That for me at the minute, all right, you've got Champions League football, right? But aside from the money, double, triple your wages. What else can they offer?
Well, it's not going to be first team football, is it?
It's going to be if and when.
Yeah.
But that's what we need. We need a few different alternatives. I mean,
we need quality on the bench.
Absolutely. Yeah, apart from this is what annoys me. It's like
we can't pay $8 million for somebody that sits on the bench week in, week out.
Oh yeah. As soon as we start looking at a player to potentially come in and rival a player we've got at the moment, everyone starts fucking throwing a little hissy fit on Twitter, going, "Oh, we can't do that. They're going to take playing time away from." I don't care. As long as we're getting the best out of our players, then so be it. Somebody were doing it the other day about the idea of Jimenez coming in saying, "Why are we doing that to Martial?" Because it's bringing in somebody to keep you on your toes. Yeah. I can't remember anybody ever complaining when we brought in Varane. I don't remember everyone going, "Oh, what about Scholes? What about Keane?"
Like,
you need to have this strength behind.
We had Cole, York, Sheringham, and Solskjaer at one point.
Yeah,
who's complaining then?
Yeah, you don't hear people saying that about Man City when they've got fucking 9 centre midfielders. Apart from De Bruyne, they're constantly changing their midfield. But yeah, if we get linked with centre midfielder tomorrow, people will be like, "Oh, but what about Matic? Matic is going to get. Oh, what about Pogba? Oh no. It doesn't necessarily, when you're bringing a player, it doesn't mean you're bringing him in to replace somebody. Chances are you might just bring him in just so you can pull someone out, put somebody back in.
Yeah, well, City's just got that right winger, haven't they? So what about Riyad Mahrez? It's not very effective. No. It's just a bit of competition, like you're saying.
It's good for the squad.
Yeah.
It's good for the squad.
Competition is good for anybody. Look at Luke Shaw. Brandon Williams has pushed Luke Shaw into being a better player.
Sorry for the rant.
No, mate, go for it.
No, carry on, rant on.
I can sit and smoke my fag and drink my coffee, mate, when you're talking. Don't fucking bother me. So, therefore, Beck, welcome to the show, Beck. Right now, Beck says she still don't see where Grealish fits into the team the way we play. Right. So, Dia, bearing in mind what our midfield is, right, and what the front three are, or the whole 6. Where does he play? If he goes into that team, if he wants first team football, right, and Ollie is dead set on getting him, where does he go?
I think he's a versatile player, I think, for me, Grealish, sorry. I think he's a versatile player. He can play left wing, he can play attacking midfield, he's an option. We have many options with him, I think. He's that kind of player. Maybe on the left wing, he will be a bench player for Man United, I think. Yeah, that's what I believe.
Because the way I see it is, if Sancho's, providing it gets done, will be the first one over the line, right? So Sancho right, Martial, Rashford, Pogba, Bruno, and Matic. I don't see where that lad gets into that first team 11. To be honest.
Can I interject?
Go on.
I think that's the beauty of Grealish, although he's not really good enough to take a position away from Pogba, or he's not good enough to take a position away from Fernandes. He can play across multiple different positions. Sometimes you can sit him in midfield. You can sit him at a number 10. You can literally swap out him for Fernandes. But also, if you notice, like some of his best work comes, strangely, off the left-hand side. The goal he scored against us at Old Trafford, where he cuts in and puts in it top corner, that's from the left.
Yeah, that's how it was.
So it literally, you're bringing one player to almost fight for 3 different positions. It's like I said a minute ago, it's putting people on the toes. You've not just got to worry about one person going, "Oh, well, my position's under threat now." You've got him going, "Well, if I can't get that position, I want that one. Or if I can't get that, I want that one."
That's one of the only benefits of him, I think, is he's a good utility player. So like you say, he would be competing for other positions.
Well,
you could stick him on the left, you could sit him at 10. But ultimately, he's just going to be getting blisters on his ass on the bench, I think.
Right. Well, Matt says that Grealish can play wings box to box on number 10, right? Kyle says Grealish can play multiple positions. But Red says that Grealish is cam, nowhere else, right? So with that in mind, where do you think his best position is?
That goal he scored against us says otherwise.
Left wing.
Yeah.
Well,
I think his best position, the where he's most influential, tends to be at a number 10.
The number 10. Oh, right. Diedrich, what do you reckon?
I think he's best as a number 10, but I'm not at the same time going to say he's bad in other positions. I think he started his career as a winger, if anything.
Here, where do you put him?
I see him on the left wing. Yeah.
Left wing. Right. I agree with Diedrich, mate. I see him out on the left wing as well. Purely because what you said there, Diedrich, about him coming in from the left and banging that one in against us. I think Martial's best position is the left. I think that's where he scores a lot of his banging goals from. Coming in from that left-hand side. Yeah. And, he tends, I think Martial just tends to, he just naturally just goes out to that position to pick the ball up.
He loves that curl into the top right corner, doesn't he?
He loves it, mate. He loves cutting in on his right foot. And that's why I think he's more effective out there for me.
This is why I disagreed with your comment last night, though, when you said you take Aubameyang. Because I think Aubameyang's best position is also coming in from that left. If you watch him, he tends to do that a lot. He tends to come in and then uses that little curl. It's very much like Henry, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what he was playing the other day, isn't it? Lacazette was in the middle the other day, wasn't he? And Aubameyang was out on the left.
But I saw Aubameyang go out to the fucking right-hand side. He didn't do nothing out on the right, and then he come back over to the left after about 10 minutes gone. Maxi said it's important to have depth. City spend 50 million on backup defenders. Yep.
Yeah.
Akil says this is a good stat as well. Grealish is the most fouled player in the league. He takes so much time on the ball. If he doesn't change that, he may not fit into our style of play. That could be a thing against him, couldn't it? That he don't move the ball quick enough for Ollie.
But maybe it's because he doesn't have the people ahead of him to pick out.
Well, this is
it. That's why he holds it on.
Beck said spending 80 million on a bench warmer, that's a lot of money, right, for someone to sit there and warm the bench, right? But from a fan's perspective, would it not be exciting to see a player of Grealish's caliber with Pogba, Bruno, or up there? Well, it's a big money price.
If you go in a 4-4-2, if we have two up there with Fernandes next to Grealish with Pogba and Matic behind them, and then two up top.
So as it stands, then you got Sancho with
Grealish and Fernandes up front. Then
no, just up top as two attacking midfielders. I mean,
so I mean, you got Sancho over the line, then, guys. Who else are you going for? Dear, who else are you going for?
I'm going for a central defender. We need a central defender.
Yeah.
And I would go for let's say a CDM.
CDM.
Yeah,
two
more players.
Well,
for defender, I think I go for. I don't know if we bring a young one like Gabriel, but for me, I believe Koulibaly would be a perfect player for us, for defender.
I heard he was going to Man City though. Man City are strongly linked with him, aren't they?
Man City won't pay that much money for him.
They don't tend to spend more than 60, do they?
Yeah, and he's looking at 70 to 100 for Koulibaly, aren't they?
Like, I reckon they'd have him for 70. They got some fucking wicked negotiators. They don't take no shit.
Yeah, that's probably because they're paying 40 million for somebody, then backhanding the rest.
Probably not.
Allegedly.
So you CDM then, dear?
For CDM, I would like to go with. But it's gonna be difficult to have this guy like Ruben Neves. I would opt for Partey. For Partey is my perfect CDM. Yeah. All day long.
Definitely go for Partey. I like Ndidi. A little bit of a left wing one. I've noticed that Kante doesn't seem to get any game time at Chelsea lately. Would anybody have a little
he was injured, wasn't he?
cheeky little go on him? But he hasn't. I don't think he's really played that much for him, though. I mean, was he injured just for the final, or has he been injured for quite a period of time?
I think he's been injured for a period of time.
Then I take that back then. I'm completely dropped to shitter on that one.
I think the commentator said on Saturday that William Kante were given opportunities right up to the last minute, and then ruled out or something. So I'm assuming he's fucking been out for a while.
I'd definitely be going for somebody to chip in, because obviously you can't rely on Matic to play all the Premier League games and all the Champions League games. And like I said, it is good to have somebody just to drop in and out. You need a centre back. I've already said who I'd like. I wouldn't mind Gabriel. I mean, I keep hearing everyone talk about Pau Torres. I haven't really seen much of him to give an opinion on him. Then you've got the outside people like Godfrey, but everybody seems to laugh whenever I say that.
That's the Norwich lad, isn't it?
Yeah. But Norwich, I think you get him relatively cheap, and also AC Milan and Leverkusen are looking at Godfrey, so it's not exactly like he's going to be signing for Millwall anytime soon. He's obviously got some qualities, and Rio Ferdinand has also said that he'd have him at United, so I'm in good company on that one. If we couldn't get Grealish, I'd start looking at elsewhere. Look at places like. I think if United have got anything about them, if we can't get hold of Grealish, why not say to Roma at the same time, well, you want Smalling, how much for Zanolio? Is he's a number 10? I think he's only about 20. He's got a really good left foot, and he's quite quick.
Okay, fair enough. Who's this Gabriel lad then? Not heard of him.
Leo.
From Lille.
Right,
yeah.
okay. Where does he play? Well, I don't watch football outside Prem, mate, so I don't know. What position?
Brazilian. I think he's about even 19 or 20. I could be wrong.
20.
Left-footed.
Okay, all right. Be an interesting one.
I like John McGinn.
John McGinn.
John McGinn from Villa. You probably get him for a decent price.
I don't know, because they're bending us over on Grealish, so I can see him bending us over on him as well.
Yeah, nowhere near as much though. Grealish is like the main man, isn't he? There. Are we totally writing off Fred and McTominay as backups for Matic?
I'm not writing off Fernand. I'm writing Fred off because I just think he relinquishes the ball just too easily. McTominay, I think, will come good, but I don't think he's quite ready yet. Even to compete for half the games. I think he did well in before Pogba and that came back, but I don't. But we wasn't exactly.
Didn't do great against Palace though, did he? Got subbed off, didn't he? After half time.
Yeah, he did. I think he will come good eventually. I think he's probably our centre defensive midfield for years to come. But this is why I don't think we can rely on him fully for when Matic isn't going. Plus, it's position, isn't it? No, it's not. Well, I don't think. Does anyone know what his position is? Because I think he's played centre back for us. He's played obviously CDM.
He prefers himself as an attacking midfielder. He was a striker in the youth team. So he's got a hell of a shot on him.
So what do you do with him then? Do you bring him in? Change position?
I'd test him out in maybe this last game and some of these European games. Test him out as an attacking midfielder.
Yeah, he is nodding his head, so he's in agreement.
Give him a chance. We've got nothing to lose. We're 5-0 up. Let him go as attacking midfielder. If that's not working, drop him back into central.
All right, but you've got to think. I work 10 o'clock in the morning, Matt, till 7 o'clock at night. The last thing I want to see when I finish work is McTominay fucking playing as a 10. I deserve better in my life than watching him.
Oh, dear, that's not just you, mate. That's all of us. We all deserve better than that, I think. We all deserve better than seeing him at centre back, mate.
I think he'll surprise you.
You think so, Mark? Do you?
Yeah, I think he'd do a good job.
Yeah,
he can hold up the ball pretty well. He's got a hell of a shot on him. I think he'd do a good number 10.
Just doesn't have the speed though, does it?
Nor does Mata, mate. Really, never had the speed, but
It did once upon a time.
Wait, it weren't lightning quick though, was it? So George Carl says the only thing Fred should be is backup for is on a one-way plane ticket to Brazil. Okay. He also agrees with Mark where he says McTominay is a baller. Mate, Fred, Pereira and Lingard will probably be here for at least one more season, says Max. And Red says, I would have liked that up and Carmo. Is that how you say it? Up
and Meccano.
Up and Carmo for centre back.
Think of Meccano like the toolkit set.
Like some of these names that people just, these footballers are fucking terrible.
Up and Meccano, actually, according to somebody, we had him on trial, but we chose not to sign him, and we chose to promote Turanzebe, apparently, because we didn't think he was any better than what we already had in Turanzebe.
There's loads like that. That Martinelli that Arsenal's got, we had him on trial, and we decided, no, we got Greenwood, we don't need him. There's a few, you'd be surprised, there's a few big players around at the moment that have had trials at United. And
but do you remember? But also, you can say the opposite, can't you? I mean, didn't one of our old chief scouts come out and say the other day that he recommended Pulisic and Alfonso and George Carl's favourite person, Alfonso Davies, and United said no.
Left back, I think, Alfonso Davies.
Yeah.
There he is. Worst decision was not going for clockwork.
Who's this scout you're talking about, Goldbridge?
yeah, mate.
On his FIFA stream.
He reckons he's everything else, doesn't he? So he might as well chuck him in as a fucking scout as well. Red says Martinelli looks very good whenever I've seen him, but some do slip by. Max says he's wanted us to sign Mbappe and Gabriel Jesus. Mate, do you know what? I remember reading something not that long ago actually about Mbappe being linked to United, but I didn't take much notice of it, to be honest. Right, so let's go with finish it off with a score prediction then here.
No, there was that one thing that Diedrich was talking about. You said you'd come back to.
We haven't finished yet.
We haven't finished yet. Number 7 about Sancho.
Yeah, right. Well, we'll do quick score prediction, then we'll talk about the 7 shirt. Right. So, Dia, we're 5-0 up. What's the aggregate score? Yeah.
So
what does it finish as?
3-0 United.
3-0. So 8-0 overall. Yeah. Okay, Diedrich.
I reckon we start Lee Grant at centre back. As goalkeeper, and we just scrape through 5-4. Nah, it'll probably be a 3-0 win or something like that. It'll probably be a bit of a nothing
you're going
game.
The same with Dia then.
8-0
overall.
Yeah.
Mark.
I think 6-3.
3. Yeah.
It's 3-1. I think 3-1 win to them.
Let's have a look. Red Devil says 3-0, so 8-0 overall. Max says the same, 3-0. Kylie's going with a 2-1 loss.
Mr. Positive as ever.
Yeah. I'm going for 3-1 loss.
Right, so Kylie reckons 7-1 overall. You reckon 8-1 overall. I think this is going to be a bit of a piss poor game, to be honest. I'm going to say United will finish probably 6-1 overall. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw on Wednesday. So we shall wrap it up then with Diedrich's question, which was, Diedrich, do you remember?
It was, yes. Would you give Sancho the number 7 shirt?
Right, okay. Well, as soon as you ask the question, then you can go first, don't you?
No.
No? Oh, interesting.
Personally, no. I think we leave it vacant for a season, see how he does, and then potentially give it him. The last thing we want...
It's something to aspire to, isn't it?
Yeah, the last thing we want is another person coming in, give him that 7, and then fucking... We've seen good players crumble under it. I mean, legends like Michael Owen and Valencia.
When you said Mike Lowen, I knew you was pissed.
So what would you give him then? 11? Would you give him the 11?
Yeah, I'd give him the 11. And then just see how he goes per season, then maybe offer him. Because, like I said, players like I still think Memphis could do a job for us, but there's been so many people that have wore that shirt, and it's almost become a bit of a poison chalice, hasn't it?
Okay, Mark, do you give it to him or not?
Give it. I'm indifferent. I don't care.
No, you're not really fussed about it. No. Do you?
Well, the thing is, like I said, it's if you don't give it to him on the promise that if he does well, he can have it, then it's something to aspire to, isn't it? It's something he can challenge himself for.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you?
I think we take the gamble. I think we give him the number 7, because if you don't give him the number 7, you may be about his confidence. And I think all the sensational create among the fans, all the rumors of the transfer, it will be excitement to give him back the number 7 shirt. And I think he will rise to the maybe like Derek said about the legend Valencia could not rise up to it.
Don't forget Alexis Sanchez and Di Maria. Don't they?
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
Yeah.
Oh man.
For me, I've got to say, I agree with you, Dietrich. I think it's shirt that's got to be earned here. It's been given away, I think, and it's been totally disrespected. I can see him wearing it in the future, because George Kyle put there JS7. It's got a ring to it for me. Not as good as CR7, but a JS7 is got a nice sound.
Sounds like a shit boy band.
Mate, whether it's sounds shit or not, it's a JS7.
What are you and boy bands?
It's a shit boy band.
Yeah, I mean, Max says as well, he thinks that 7 needs to be earned, not given out. I think it's had such disrespect to it in the last, going back 4 or 5 years, that it needs to be earned. But
do it.
JS7 does stand. Biden, he gets over the line.
Do a Birmingham and retire it.
Do you know what? That was really weird.
It is.
I found that really fucking weird. That it's Birmingham City. Fancy retiring the shirt just because some youngster's gone to Dortmund.
Bellingham. Yeah.
I played 1 season in it.
Yeah. Let's have a look.
Marcus, did you want to mention Danny Ceballos?
No, it was only
was that for another time?
No, it was only just I only mentioned it the other night because it was just something that was thrown out, wasn't it? Jay Hart mentioned it on talking to Rodney, right. And seeing as he was on loan from Madrid, and obviously then Madrid ain't that keen on him, else they wouldn't have loaned him out to Arsenal, especially. I just thought, maybe as a fucking bit of under the carpet sort of thing, they might go in for him. So have a look. Carly says here that Sancho will sign on the 7th of August and have the number 7 shirt.
It's 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
7 o'clock.
Yeah, 7 p.m.
Because that's Golby's just piping that out.
Is it? Oh, mate, I don't know. I don't watch the shit no more anyway. Max wouldn't want to put more pressure on Sancho either with the number 7 shirt. That's a good point as well, because he's young. Do you reckon if they did hand it to him, he'd be able to take the responsibility and do the shirt proud if he got it straight away, do you?
Yeah, that's the question he's all about. I think United now, do they consider this number 7 now? Because they give it to Valencia, they give it. I think it is no more but myth about the number 7, like George Best.
I'd give it Greenwood.
I'd give it Rashford.
Let Greenwood have it.
I agree with Dietrich again. I thought Rashford would be a shoo-in for it, to be honest. I really did. But I'm very conscious of the time, dear. So I'm going to end it there for you. All right. We shall end the show there. Because, dear, it's like 1 a.m. and now, mate, for you.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry. I know I say half an hour, but add a bit on for that.
Was a good
Carly
show.
would give 7 of Fred the Red mascot. One was Saka signed on the 29th and got the 29th shirt, and Harry Maguire signed on the 5th and got the 5th shirt. That don't mean that he's going to sign on the 7th of August. It could be the 7th of September. The way Ed fucking handles stuff. Mac, I forgot about that as well. Max said Real Madrid would be difficult to deal with after what happened with De Gea. Totally forgot about that, actually.
Don't forget about them fucking not selling us Morata.
Yeah, fucking about with the price, wasn't it? Up and down.
Are they going to mess up with the fax machine?
Yeah, but
wish they fucking hadn't now. How bad De Gea's been lately.
Mate, do you know what? I'd be quite happy this season, right? If they bring in the Sancho kid, they pay the release clause, they get Partey, right? And they get Dean Henderson involved in that first 11. I'd be quite happy with that. I really would.
I still want a centre back.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe before you go.
Mate, he's like a parrot, isn't he?
I'm going to get a t-shirt. I'm going to get a t-shirt. Should get a t-shirt?
Whenever I click my fingers, Mark, you got to say it, right? That's your cue. Right. Cheers for joining, boys. Hope everyone had fun. Thanks for everyone who's joined in the comments and questions and everything like that. I think tomorrow Ross is doing something if he was free, and towards the end of the week Rodney is doing something. So don't bank on it, because you know what them two are like with their times and stuff. But yeah. So thanks a lot, everyone. And mate, their time differences is like dear. They ain't got a clue, mate. They really haven't. But right, catch you all later. Thanks for joining. Speak to you soon.
Yes.
Bye.
See ya.